So let's go ahead and get this speaker stuff taken care of. So what we got here is I got my switch, which I'll take out and do my wires on. So let's get that out. I just picked me up a 1/2 inch washer with a 1/2 inch opening. Fits perfectly on, which fits perfectly right on top of that. So I'll put one on the back side and one on the front. So it'll go right like this. And that'll be a nice big grab because this wood is pretty thin, and that'll give it a nice, it'll just make it stronger. I'd highly recommend using the washer. So I got the washers. Now let's go ahead and get this hooked up. First I got to figure out my wiring. To cut these wires. So the gray and black, the striped, is the negative. The white and black stripe is the negative. And then the gray, straight gray is positive, and the straight white is positive. So that's on that, but we're gonna have to take the speaker off here just to verify what we have for positive and negative running to the speaker, because it's, they wired it screwy. There's no way really to tell. Okay, so I'm not gonna take anything for granted. I can see it's really kind of hard to make out, but the negative is this side, the positive is this side. That means on this particular wiring, the yellow and black stripe is actually on the negative. So I'm going to check the other side as well to see if they've kept that consistent. The negative is on the black, the yellow with the black stripe, with the positive being just without the stripe. So I'm going to put the speakers back together. I'm not going to pull the outside one off. For right now, I'm going to go with the assumption that the wire with the stripe, the black stripes, is negative. And I just discovered something else that's kind of disappointing. Whoever put these speakers in last from the factory put the screws in too tight. You really just want to put them in just tight enough to hold it. 2 of these screws, they've already stripped the wood out. They tried to put them in too tight because I can't even, they don't tighten up at all. So literally from the factory, 2 of the screws are tightened too tight from the factory, already stripped the wood. Again, that is not quality. Sorry, I know I'm nitpicking, but I really don't think I am. You want to see a quality product, then you don't have crap like that. Just saying, you don't. You really don't. But anyway, let's keep on going. So next, I want to go ahead and just cut the speaker wires all out of the circuit and rewire them to my own requirements. Again, we're going to keep the striped wire from the speaker as negative going into the negative on the stereo unit. Alright, so now I have my yellow going to my right speaker, yellow going to the left speaker, and pink going to the outside speaker. And again, we're going to assume all the ones with the black stripe are negative, and they kept it consistent. Again, the actual wiring was really whacked. They actually had all these speakers running in series. So it literally ran from the positive to the negative, to the next one, to the positive, to the negative, and it actually looped between the left and the right output channels of the amplifier. So what I've got now is I've got these wires all completely separate. We know that the white and black are the positive and negative for one channel. For the left, I believe, I'll look when I get closer, and then the grays are for the right. And so now we're going to start wiring everything up separately. Alright, so the first thing I did is I used my trusty strippers, which I only have one pair of hands, so I can't show you as I'm doing it, but I went ahead and stripped all the ends of the wires. So everything is bare and ready to go. And now I'm going to use my crimper set and my little crimp things, and I'm going to put this all back together. So I'm going to take the yellow speaker wire from the white side, which is this one, and I'm going to take the wire that doesn't have the stripe and hook it up directly to the white that does not have the stripe. So we're going to do the same thing, and that is it right there. So we're going to connect those two together right there. Alright, so you'll see right here there's a little red dot, and I put the red on and I lined it up with the red and I crimped it. And so we've got that now crimped. And let's go ahead and move to the right negative, which is going to be the white and black stripe to the yellow with the black stripe. And we're going to hook those up. Okay, got them pulled. I do a little pull test when I have both hands free, make sure the wires are nice and tight in there. We should be good to go. So we'll just do a quick sound check, and sure enough, we're getting sound out of that speaker. So we'll turn it off. Now we'll go ahead and get started on the left side, but the left side's a little different. That's where our switch is going to come in. Now I should probably have color-coded wire. I didn't do that. I've just got red wire, so I'll have to keep track of what's going to what, which will make my work a little harder, but I'm cheap. Again, I didn't want to spend a lot of money on this, otherwise that would defeat the whole point of being cheap. So, I'm going to just take red wire. It does have a, yeah, there's no stripe, there's no nothing. So as I get it all hooked up on my thing here. Now my wires might be long enough. What did I do with my switch? Can't find my switch. There it is. I may decide, uh-oh. What did I do? Ah, there it is. I may decide to go ahead and run the yellow all the way down, but I'm thinking not. I'm going to run the wires all the way back up, so I have plenty of length to work with. Again, the issue is it's going to be a little harder for me to know what wires are connected to what. So how am I going to, what's the best way to do that? Probably wire all externally and then reach back and put the switch in place. So we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so I know it's not pretty, but basically I just cut 6 wires, roughly all the same length. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I attached them to all 6 terminals of the switch. So I will have positive and negative of one speaker connected to this side, positive and negative to the center for the stereo, and positive and negative to the other speaker connected to this side. And so let's go ahead and get that started. Alright, here's my mess of wires. I know it's a bit long, but I wanted to make sure I had plenty to work with. I followed them through to make sure that I have all the positives and negatives working. I basically have to the bottom 2 poles going to the speaker inside, the top 2 poles going to the speaker outside, and the middle 2 poles of the switch going to the stereo. So now my switch should be ready to go. I'm going to test it before I run all the wires back in place. So let's give it a shot. Okay, so I get just white noise right now. The switch is off, so I hear nothing on this one side. Let's see, one of these is going to turn it on. So that must be going outside. If I throw the switch the other way, there we go. Both speakers inside. Just the right speaker on the inside. That should have turned the speaker on the outside. Let's go see. There we go. Now we'll throw the switch back the other way and the sound should be back inside. And no sound coming out there. Alright, so I'm now going to put all this back together and button it up. I'm going to put one big washer on the inside. So I'm going to run all these wires back through and then stick it through the hole. Alright, there it goes. And honestly, I'm really glad that I did have a lot of excessive wire here. It's going to, because you have to keep all this out while you're reaching through to put this in place. And so if I didn't have enough wire, it would not have worked out very well. So let's go ahead and stuff this all back in. Alright, so that's back on. I think I'm going to wait before I clip the faceplate back on because these, I said, are stripped. So I'm actually going to go to the hardware store tomorrow and change these out with I don't know, I'm going to try to see if I can get little, like in aviation they use little clips that go on the back end of coarse thread screws to help them clip up. I'm going to see if I can buy something like that at the hardware store. I'm not sure if I can. I don't remember what they're called. It may be something I may have to go to I don't know. I'll just have to see. It might be a typical hardware thing, but it may be something I only get in aviation. So I'll leave that off for now. Let's go ahead and give it an official test run. We'll turn it on. Alright, so I ended up being on. I got the switch upside down, but it doesn't matter. Oh wow. Okay. I know you can't hear it, but honestly, I had no idea. I figured these wouldn't sound decent regardless. I undersold it. I mean, it's still not great, but even though they're close together, having those actually wired as stereo is a night and day difference. That actually sounded pretty enjoyable to listen to. I mean, I would enjoy that. So that's cool. I basically less than $10. I fixed the issue. We can now turn the speaker on if we want it outside, or have stereo on the inside. So there you go. That's the solution. Be aware of the screws that hold the speakers in will probably be stripped when you're taking them out before you even get started. They're probably already stripped from the factory because that's not quality. That's what they give you. I'm sorry. I know I'm beating up this trailer big time as far as negativity. But I had so many people give me the impression that this trailer is like the best thing since sliced bread as far as quality, and I really think it's important that the facts get out. Now, actually, we were reading some reviews or listening to some other reviews on YouTube about some other trailer manufacturers, so I guess they could be a lot worse. But still, that's not quality. Rockwood, take note. Those are the kinds of things that you really shouldn't have coming out of a factory. You shouldn't have strip screws. It's not that hard to prevent. Just do it right. So, anyway, I got that wired. I'm going to go to the hardware store tomorrow, pull the stereo back out, and put clips on those screws behind. That's probably how they should have done it to begin with, but they didn't. Yeah, we'll get some video of that tomorrow. And this project is done.